West Ada High School students walking out of class Thursday to show support for Lewis and Clark Middle School teacher Sarah Inama after the district asked her to take down a poster that said everyone is welcome.
In this political environment, that is not acceptable.
Yeah, I was told a couple things, that everyone is welcome here is not something that everybody believes.
Now, I know this story is a little outside my wheelhouse regarding the topics that I cover on here, but it's a story so absurd that I have to address it. A teacher who had a, quote, everyone is welcome sign up in her classroom was ordered to take it down because the district claims that these signs violate policy requiring classroom content to be neutral. You heard me right. A sign that says, in this room, everyone is welcomed, important, accepted, respected, encouraged, valued, equal, is no longer considered to be a neutral expression in Donald Trump's America. Undoubtedly, the apprehension is coming from the all lives matter pro-life crowd.
Look, in the face of everything that's happening, it takes guts for ordinary people to stand up against it. But here's the thing. So many people are. Like Sarah Inama. For the past 4 years, she's taught world civilization to sixth graders at Lewis and Clark Middle School in Meridian, Idaho. And like all teachers, she decorates her classroom with motivational posters. Posters like this one that says, in this room, everyone is welcome, important, accepted, respected, encouraged, valued, and equal. An even more straightforward one showing children's raised hands with the tagline, everyone is welcome here. You have probably seen this kind of stuff a million times in kids' classrooms. I know I have as a dad. The kind of inspirational messages that are simply meant to tell students, whoever you are in the right place, you belong here. Shouldn't be controversial, right?
So for 4 years, these signs have survived sans harassment. Nobody said a word about them. That is, until about a month ago.
My building administration came to me during my lunch period and told me that they needed to be taken down by the end of the day. They told me that they were in violation of district policy because in today's political environment, they're considered a personal opinion.
Did they say somebody complained about them?
No. I asked if anyone had complained about them, and they said, no, we just want to protect you from that if that were to happen.
In this political environment, that is not acceptable.
Yeah, I was told a couple things, that everyone is welcome here is not something that everybody believes.
Now, the teacher in question, Sarah Inama, said school officials informed her that the signs were considered personal opinions in today's political climate. That's right, in Donald Trump's America, saying that everyone is welcome in a classroom isn't welcome if that everyone happens to showcase different skin colors on the sign.
Dozens of West Ada students chanting for change.
I entered that classroom and I felt welcome. I think everybody deserves here to also feel welcome.
Several students, even ones like Annika, who was in Sarah Inama's class in middle school, shared heartfelt stories about how teachers have positively impacted their lives.
Who's welcome here? Everyone is welcome here.
Vivian, a junior at Renaissance High School, sharing with the crowd how inclusive signs have made her feel welcome as an Asian American student.
When we're able to make our education more diverse, we make people feel more welcome. I'm very glad to be here in protest of this censorship, and I will always be fighting for the side of diversity, for the side of inclusivity.
All this after a sixth grade world civilization teacher at Lewis and Clark Middle School was told to take down these two signs. District leadership stated that this ensures that classrooms remain neutral, distraction-free spaces where students can focus on their academic success.
I had a student tell me, she pointed to my sign and said, you know, that might not be true other places, but in this classroom, that's a fact.
Now, the teacher initially complied, but later put the signs back up, believing that they represented core values of public education. Then district officials cited both internal policy and Idaho's Dignity and Non-Discrimination in Public Education Act as justification for their removal. Yeah, let me just layman that up a little bit. A sign that is inclusionary in its imagery is discriminatory. Got it.
It is a policy they updated after Idaho lawmakers passed a state law stating that critical race theory divides people and is contrary to the unity of the nation and the well-being of the state. The team trying to cancel this classroom poster is in a kid's classroom, is led by the school district's chief academic officer, Marcus Myers. And yes, he says the problem here is the colors of the hands.
If there was a poster that just said everyone is welcome here, black background, white words, do you think the team would have objected to that?
I don't think the team would have. Now, that would have been a team decision, but I don't think the team would have. And I say that because those exist in our schools.
I was going to say, you have things that are almost identical to this. They just don't have multicoloring, and then they don't have the hands that obviously are different shades of skin tone, right? Ranging from white all the way to black.
Yeah.
So
the text by itself doesn't allow for interpretation.
Okay, so that's school district chief academic officer Marcus Myers. Everyone is welcome here as long as you're not talking about, everyone.
And as a result, the story has gained traction online, especially as the teacher in question here decided to step down from her position. So not only are teachers undervalued and woefully underpaid in this country, they're now just being forced out of their job because they dare seek to be inclusive. All while, for instance, in Oklahoma, high schools are now required to teach Trump 2020 election conspiracy theories as fact.
Walters is not denying he altered the social studies standards to include students learn of potential discrepancies in the 2020 election.
Absolutely, there were changes made after it was paid for public comment.
But he is unwilling to acknowledge what 3 board members want, that he failed to point out the changes or give them ample time to read themselves. An email shows the board got the updated standards at 4:01 on Wednesday for a Thursday vote.
There are no differences between what you all were emailed, what you all were presented that day, and what was sent to the legislature.
I'm not a speed reader. I apologize. I think, 400 pages?
I was at that February meeting. Walters did pressure the board to vote that day, indicating a legislative time crunch.
That was a misled. So I feel deceived on that because here we are still talking about the standards, and that time frame could have come and gone, and we could have reviewed them.
Ryan Detheridge was the only dissenting vote, pushing for more time to read. Michael Tinney assumed the standards were the same ones he originally read.
It never dawned on me somebody would have changed them without telling the board.
I can't make you read. Listen, I can't make you read. I can't make you do the research before you vote.
Legislators can vote yes or no, or send the standards back to the board for changes. If that happens, Chris Vandenhend asked Walters to provide documents to justify his changes.
Can you produce those?
First of all, it's completely irrelevant part of the conversation.
I don't think it is.
You're looking at the individual that made the decision on what's in the standards. I'm right here. Ultimately, I make the decision on what's in the standards and what's not.
And Trump's education department is hell-bent on overseeing cuts that would throw K-12 and higher education into complete chaos, especially for the students most reliant on federal funding. More often than not, low-income students and students with disabilities, as well as students who rely on federal financial aid to attend universities and colleges. The war on education is here, folks, and this story may not have garnered the headlines as much as Trump saying Putin likes Melania more, but a teacher being forced to resign for standing firm in the belief that at one point you'd imagine would be upheld as a basic human right. In America, everyone who comes to school to learn is welcome and should be treated that way, is indicative of a country in severe danger of falling to an autocrat's way of life.
I just feel like, as a teacher, and I feel like probably a lot of teachers share this sentiment, I would do anything to protect my students. I love all of them unconditionally. We protect them from danger. Quite literally would take a bullet for these students. And this is the one small thing that I feel like I can do to speak out against this and stand up for them, to protect them from being affected by racist sentiments affecting their classroom. Find it hard to grapple with the fact that the reason why this poster needs to come down is because there are people outside of our school that disagree with it.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 1 million followers.